Welcome to Sam Outside. I'm Sam and I'm outside, inviting you to consider being a little more specific with your nature connection. I'm a certified forest therapy guide. Also, participating in nature connection. Those are often two different things because of the environment you might be enjoying. But today I want to spend a little more time inviting you to consider sylvotherapy. Sylvotherapy is a branch of forest therapy or nature connection in that it's specific to trees. All right. So there is some science that is dedicated to studying the immediate effects, long lasting, beneficial effects of interacting intentionally in different forms of sensory work with trees specifically. Despite all the life, all the other living things and non living things that could make up a habitat, which by definition would be nature, not always a forest, but nature connection. So for me as a guide, I want to keep all options open. So I want to have aspects of water. I'm hoping that there is some form of air movement, offering wind. And I want to acknowledge that there are striking features and aspects of different things in the forest, like random stones and mosses and insects and birds and animals. There's just life everywhere, and not all of it has to be life. So, talked earlier about stones, the soil itself, right? Mud, gravel, all these different things underfoot, in hand, that we can see, touch, smell, and look at, that offer contrast in shape, color, texture. All these things appeal to the senses, and that's part of the appeal. Sylvotherapy, we're going to be a little more specific. We're going to look for the beneficial effects of interacting, and a lot of it, believe it or not, is recommended to be focused on touch. So there are so many types of trees in a mixed forest. I happen to live in a forest where there is a good variety. All right. So for example, here I've got the smooth bark of a beech tree. Now the beech on one side is going to be a little more dry, exposed to the south, to the heat, and it's not going to have the collection of lichens and mosses. And I'm going to have, again, some dead standing wood. The textures and the shapes, maybe even the smell is going to feel different, other living things on that. But it's the tree itself that is our focus. And I'm looking at textures, I'm touching textures. There's going to be certain smells that are strongly associated with some species over others. I really can't smell the difference between a birch and a beech, and a cherry, and a maple, and an ash. But when I get into our coniferous trees, I can literally smell it. That's due to the phytoncides. Those are the essential oils, volatile chemicals, volatile meaning airborne, chemicals that are on the air. That's the byproduct of photosynthesis. We all think immediately of oxygen, but also there are trace amounts of vapor, and on that are the tree's own essential oils. It's those phytoncides where the science really happens. So they communicate. These hemlock, the balsam, the pine, the spruce, the cedar in our forest. There's a different scent on the ground as the sun radiates and heats those oils that are in the ground. So it is a different act of participating, being sensory, sense of smell, touch, listening to the way the wind moves through those trees. Sylvotherapy has a different intention. It'll have a different outcome. And the idea is for us to make connections with some very real other living things. Providing thanks, gratitude for the shade that they provide, for the oxygen they provide, for the habitat and the food sources that they have, fuel. And as a Canadian, they are a major part of our economic industry. So yeah, there are some aspects of trees that many might take for granted. I'm not one of those people. So as a guide, I don't always have the opportunity or the need to participate in nature connection in a forest. And when I do, it's all living things and non-living things. I might have a walk that is, in a wetland, or maybe it's on a beach, or maybe part of that is on the water, on the lake. So nature itself, given the habitat, may not include trees, right? So the forest aspect is not part of the conversation, not part of the experience, not part of the sensory work, but it's nature connection. Sylvotherapy, very specific, very focused. And the benefits of phytoncides as an essential oil or volatile chemical is where the science specific to healing comes in, because of how the trees' phytoncides connect to their own body's immune system. So spending time in trees, among trees, touching, smelling, maybe not tasting, but for some it's possible. The science is there in that those phytoncides connect with your body's own immune system. More specifically, NK, natural killer cells. Those cells in our body will be rejuvenated, production will increase, targeting what we call problem cells, deformed cells, tumorous, cancerous cells. So nature therapy, sylvotherapy, happens through nature connection. So spend time in forests, and more specifically, spend time in trees. And if sylvotherapy, you might want to be a little more tactile in your practice, exploring different bark types, different textures, different shades, different colors. It really does help. Lowers cortisol. You're out getting some fresh air, access to daylight, increasing serotonin, lowering blood pressure. But at the end of the experience, whether it's 20 minutes, 2 hours, a couple days, you will be happier and healthier for it. So despite what your timelines or your immediate environment, your habitat that you're exploring and connecting with, if you're going to be interacting with trees specifically as an intention for their benefits, you are participating in sylvotherapy. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.